Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are taking a look at the Syn Shenron Eza that was added to DBZ Dokkan Battle Global. So Syn Shenron got as Eza, it's a part of the Omega Shenron Eza, and he becomes a physical type 100% lead, along with gaining some changes to his super attack effects. He now raises attack and defense on his super attack, and yeah, he looks pretty damn good actually. He has attack and defense of 100%. All enemies have defense down of 50%. He gains a 7% chance to critical hit per GT boss's unit on his team, and he also has guaranteed criticals if he gets 7 orbs or more. So because of that, obviously in terms of build, we really do kind of just want to focus in on him being a additional type unit. Not only will it improve him defensively with the ability to raise his defense temporarily on his super attack, but it will take advantage of his potentially high chance to crit based on what team you place him on or whether you get 7 orbs. And that's going to really maximize his damage because his attack stats not going to lean into a super high attack stat. In terms of links, we have Brutal Beatdown, Fear and Faith, Big Bad Bosses, GT, and we also have, of course, Fierce Battle, along with Shadow Dragons. So we have some pretty interesting link sets here. Obviously Fierce Battle's a fairly common link, Big Bad Bosses is a great link, and then we also have a whole bunch of other links like Fear and Faith, which is a decent key link amongst Inhuman Deeds units. He's only on 3 categories: GT Bosses, Inhuman Deeds, and yeah, he's, you know, a decent unit. Shadow Dragon Saga unit, which is always great because that category is very small. GT Bosses needed the help, especially because he's a Syn Shenron. He can link with Omega Shenrons, Oceanus Shenron, and yeah, he's looking like a good addition to the GT Bosses category team. We are running the Shadow Dragon Saga team right here and right now, and it's a pretty solid team. Obviously we've made it more GT Bosses orientated, so we are indeed making sure that everything's okay and kosher there. That's going to increase his critical chance quite a lot. Obviously we have him, we have Omega Shenron, we have Oceanus Shenron. That's going to trigger, and that's going to trigger for him, you know, 21% crit chance, which is obviously really good. So that is something we're going to be aware of. We also have Tech Nova Shenron as well, so that's going to increase his crit chance and also acts as a support for the Shadow Dragon Saga. So overall, we've got a pretty good looking situation for him. We have him sitting at 120k defense, so very good right off the bat. Obviously no Big Bad Bosses active. He's not getting any support from the physical Nova Shenron because he only supports super based units. So overall, we have a nice good look at his defense here. 120k is pretty good. He is a 2-dupe unit, so that's a very solid starting point for his defense. Not only can we build him full additional, but he also will have Big Bad Bosses activated if you get it to level link 10, and also he has the ability to raise his defense on his super. So if you get all those conditions active, he'll be a very viable defensive unit. So I'm not too concerned right now with his defense. I think he's at a good point there defensively, and we'll get a good look at that attack stat soon. Obviously in terms of team, it would be ideal to run him on GT Bosses. He'd have the support from Rildo, he could have the support of the entire team being GT Bosses orientated, which of course would increase his crit chance even further. He's a kind of unit that will benefit a lot from links. Shadow Dragon's a powerful link, Big Bad Bosses is a powerful link, Fierce Battle he'll gain attack from, Fear and Faith or GT he'll gain attack and defense from. So overall there is a lot that can go on with him that you can increase through links. So it's just going to depend on what happened. So I definitely suggest that you do Eza him He's a super solid addition, especially because Shadow Dragons is already such a niche category, and since the GT Bosses category is even smaller than the Shadow Dragon Saga category, he's definitely a welcome addition. And being Syn Shenron means we can just link him with Omega Shenrons, and that's really, really good. Him having the ability to link with Omega Shenrons makes a very powerful duo rotation, which we'll see here. He's going to get a lot of links active. So you've got 5 links active there, which is great. Obviously, you know, we take a look there. We don't have Big Bad Bosses activated just yet, but when that activates, we'll have 6 links active, which is fantastic. And, you know, you can get quite a few orbs with him as well. Unfortunately, not able to get 7 orbs there, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, definitely a good showing from him. And look, attack stat wise, 1.5 million is okay. It's not too bad, obviously bearing in mind that we're not currently getting any support. But 1.5 billion is decent, especially when you have such a high crit chance for a unit. You know, putting him on a GT Bosses team, he could have upwards of 30-40% crit chance, 7 orbs, guaranteed crit. So there is definitely the ability for him to do quite a substantial amount of damage, especially when you factor in Big Bad Bosses, how Shadow Dragons links up, and there's just a lot of things going on. So I think if you're a little bit disappointed in the attack stat, just bear in mind the frequency with which this unit can crit on the teams he's going to be on. Remember, again, he is only on 3 categories, and on Shadow Dragon Saga and on GT Bosses, he definitely can reach high crit chance abilities. I mean, if you're going to run Shadow Dragon Saga, you can run him alongside Super 17. That will give him a really, really good amount of crit chance. So, you know, even that base 14% that he'll get from being run with just 1 GT Bosses unit is still very impressive. It basically means that he's got a somewhat decent chance already. You factor in, you know, the simple notion that he also has some crit chance inherently from his hidden potential system, and this guy's already got a very high level of crit. So his damage numbers, although a little bit low, are not something that I'm too concerned about. I definitely think, you know, Shenron is a very, very good EZA. He helps out a lot of categories. Defensively looks solid. He'll get up to that 160, 170-ish K mark, which is kind of the norm, I want to say, for units in the current meta, to be able to facilitate ESBR, SBRs, and just most modern content at this point. Like, he's got a very decent upgrade, and yeah, such a massive amount of defense reduction does actually help, especially when he is paired with Omega Shenron. I mean, together they are massively reducing the defense of the opposing force. You know, they're going to be super clutch in any SBR, ESBR, anything like that. They're going to be very, very good units. So yeah, I definitely think it was a good EZA, a nice sub EZA, a big expansion for the Shadow Dragons and GT Bosses categories. You know, we're running him here again. Also another good turn defensively. You know, a very nice defensive stat there. Super solid 120k. Again, we're not really gaining anything more in terms of links or in terms of anything like that. We don't have any support on rotation. You know, obviously having Big Bad Bosses active will be a very big buff to this unit. It will always be something that will really help out the unit, will make it, you know, just perform at a much higher level. As is with any Big Bad Bosses category, you know, unit, they are always top notch once they get that link active. But a good attack stat there. You can see the crit really coming in, the additionals now, because you can build him full additional, really coming in clutch as well. So just, yeah, a really good amount of damage. Again, the fact that you can build him with such a high rate of crit really means that even though it might be a slightly lackluster attack stat, the actual damage that he'll be doing is very good, because that crit's going to enable him to, you know, massively deal damage to units with high damage reduction. He's also going to be able to dish out damage to units. now that he's reducing defense a lot as well, it really does help out. So not only is he massively reducing that defense in the first place, but for the entire lineup, but he's actually also able to pierce damage reduction quite frequently with the rate at which he crits. So just overall, something very impressive and just a very, very good skill set overall. So yeah, definitely something that I think, you know, a unit that I think is very good. Very, very happy with this unit. And yeah, I think these kind of EZAs, these kind of, you know, changes and everything like that are very good. They are impactful, and they really help to expand on the category, which I think is always a bonus. Always helps out the units a lot, and it's just something that we need from time to time. An expansion to the GT bosses is never going to be something we're going to complain about. And you can see here again, just, you know, a very, very good rotation for him. Obviously getting a lot of those links active, but at the same time, looking very good. Got some support on this rotation as well. So we are going to see that attack stat shoot up a little bit, which will help out. And that would also, obviously, we'll have some increased defense afterwards. Remember, we're also raising our defense on our super, so that is always helping out. You can see there another crit again. So just continually getting these really big, really nice crits that are just helping us chuck away at units. The whole time we're just dealing out big damage to them, and it's just helping us out. It's just making sure that we have the ability to dish out damage, that we're keeping up with the damage, and it makes his mediocre looking attack stats very effective, because they are actually causing a lot of damage to the opposition. They're actually eating away at health. They're not high attack stats, but they are eating away at health because they are avoiding a lot of the mechanics that lower the attack stat. They are avoiding damage reduction. They are avoiding defense because of how he lowers defense. So it's just a super effective level of damage, realistically speaking. So it's very, very impressive by old Shenron there. So super happy for all of that. Very, very impressed with him overall. And yeah, just again here, now we've got some support on the rotation. You can see again, everything's just moving up again, another step, just looking very impressive. He is a unit that's only going to get better with your link leveling. With dupes, with everything like that, he's only going to get better, but he's already at such a good spot and such a big increase to the category. Very, very impressive. Very happy with Syn Shenron. For me, overall, super duper unit. Very well done. Good boon to his category. Good boon to the GT bosses category. And yeah, just he's going to be useful in a lot of content, and we'll take him through some of the content. We'll take a look at him, but if you do have him, he's definitely going to help you with the SBR and the ESBR. That is no doubt there. And yeah, I think the biggest benefit of sub EZAs is just that obviously for the most part they do benefit the category of, or generally benefit the category of the unit that did the main EZA. And I think that for the most part is the biggest benefit here of Shenron. Yeah, and we'll see now we're going to be able to get big bad bosses active. So yeah, we had support in the last rotation, so it won't necessarily be exactly the same, but it will be good to see what he's like under the effects of big bad bosses without a support or anything, so we can get a good idea of where that defense will sit at for a max link leveled Omega Shenron. And I do think overall he is possibly a unit to invest some time link leveling into, although they don't have the most categories, so I can see the negative benefits or the lack of benefits of link leveling such a unit. But you know, eventually this Omega Shenron, the main boy Omega Shenron, will get an EZA, and you know, he's gonna have the perfect foil in Syn Shenron already existing, so that's gonna be really good. And we'll get a nice look at his defense here. So let's take a look at what he's rocking. 151k, very, very good. Obviously all 6 links active now. A very, very good level of damage. Of defense. And yeah, if we'd moved him to second slot, we could have got 7 orbs, but more importantly, we got to see that nice defense stat, and we'll get to see what his attack stat is under the effect of big bad bosses. So 1.55, you know, nothing too crazy, but a nice sizable increase, and obviously gets another crit. And yeah, I think we've definitely seen enough of Syn Shenron to kind of gauge where he's at as a unit and what he brings to the table. I definitely think he's worthwhile. I think he's worth the effort. He's a unit that you should be you should at least be awakening. Whether you link level him or not, it's going to be up to what event you want to take on. So yeah, we got a good look at him. Obviously, we're going to look at his link pairing partners here. So he's got Brutal Beatdown, not really a super common link. Fear and Faith will be something we focus on, big bad bosses. GT will be something we look at separately. Shadow Dragons, obviously he will share with all Shadow Dragons. And Fierce Battle. So I think the links you can focus on just as generic guidelines for Syn Shenron and whether a unit will link well with them is Fear and Faith, Big Bad Bosses, and Fierce Battle. I think if you get those 3 links, you are basically looking at a solid pairing partner for him. He'll have Key, he'll have Big Bad Bosses, and you'll have the more common attack link active. And you can see that evident by the variety of options. A lot of these units are on Inhuman Deeds, like Frieza, Goku Black, and you have Rildo here, who's obviously a very good partner for him on GT bosses. He's shares GT with them, shares Big Bad Bosses, shares Fear and Faith, shares Fierce Battle, and he's a support for the the GT bosses category. And like I mentioned before, you know, Goku Blacks, Freezers, all those units are nice to pair with them on Inhuman Deeds. So we have a variety of options for him, and I think that's good for him to have options on all his teams. Obviously, GT bosses and Shadow Dragons, you can, or Shadow Dragon Saga I should say, you can basically just run him with any Omega Shenron, but you can run him with Rildo, who is also a very good option. And then on Inhuman Deeds, you can run him with a variety of options. So that's nice because, you know, even though, yes, you could technically run him with a Shenron, you can run him with something a bit more powerful in the form of Tech Frieza, in the form of Goku Black. And I mean, you know, taking a look at Super 17 as well, they share a decent amount of links there. So overall, a solid number of options for Syn Shenron. Let me know in the comments what you think about him down below, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, take care and bye.